This is Informer News, your voice of the people. Timeline is Sunday, the 1st of November 2015. Welcome along, my friends, to another edition of the Informer News monthly special report. Coming up in this month's broadcast, claims from insiders that ET infiltration of the government and military is a serious threat to the United States. Plus the secret CIA time travel program. Also, amazing new footage taken from the UK on the 2nd of September, clearly showing objects of the system Nibiru. Also, an image taken from the South Pole telescope on the 2nd of September shows some incredible images of two brilliantly lit objects. One has a planet close to it. Plus, Iranian media confirms multiple meteor impacts in Iran. And was there an attempted assassination on John Kerry at a meeting with ISIS leaders? Okay, into this month's Informer News special reports. This first report originates from ProjectCamelotPortal.com, titled Tony Dodd, Torchwood and ET Infiltration of the Government and Military, and this was posted on June the 10th, 2009, published in Written Interviews and Reports. Update. We feel we can now reveal that our source was the well-known and highly respected former British policeman and British UFO investigator Tony Dodd, who died of a brain tumour. He had always suspected that his illness was engineered and was directly related to his work. Out of the 4 different groups, all humanoid, one group was so human-looking, just like us, they could sit next to us in a restaurant, they could sit next to you in a theatre, and you would never know. Tony Dodd told us there were teams of agents tracking down ETs visiting the planet, just like in the series Torchwood, and either taking them into custody, imprisoning them, or killing them. Along the lines of ETs are monsters, from Bob Dean. They were the ones that bothered the admirals and generals the most. That these guys could be walking up and down the corridors of SHAPE headquarters or the Pentagon or the White House. From our first interview with Bob Dean, part 1. Following the publication of this interview, further information on this subject has come our way. We have also been told in no uncertain terms that this information is extremely dangerous to know or reveal. We therefore invite you, the reader, to copy and distribute this information widely on the internet, as long as it remains unaltered. We have named our source John Roby, after the charismatic character played by Cary Grant in the classic 1955 movie To Catch a Thief. The following dialogue was by email. We have verified the identity and bona fides of our source. Please tell us a little bit about yourself. Let's just say for the record that I'm a retired employee of a major Western government. I have contacts in some very high places and have been investigating the areas that Bob Dean spoke of for many years in many countries. Can you say what specifically you have been investigating? I'm now much closer to the complexities involved in the UFO field and the government's involvement. There's certainly a serious threat by some visitors, UFOs, and further problems caused by alien visitors who are integrated into our society, possibly holding high positions in government. These aliens who look like us are here for unknown reasons, and this is causing many problems for those trying to find them. We've heard a little about this from Bill Hamilton and also from Bob Dean, as you know. In your personal opinion, these aliens who are very human-like and are considered a threat, are they a real threat to us, or just considered a threat by the powers that be? In other words, are they actually benevolent or malevolent? There's very little doubt that they've been here for many years, and they have occasionally had meetings with certain very high-ranking people. One very high-ranking military officer wrote about one such meeting. These meetings are far and few between, and the individual is chosen by the alien for such meetings, which take place under extreme secrecy. These aliens operate above normal government knowledge, and they are pursued by highly trained hunter-killers of several nationalities who operate to eliminate them. Normal people getting close to the truth of what is happening are getting into very dangerous areas and will quickly have a fatal accident. They will not permit anybody to rock the boat. I was warned I would be killed because of some of my work. The aliens are highly intelligent and have possibly obtained positions at a very high level, and this is of great concern to senior authorities. My information is that the only way they can be recognized is by a deformed finger on one of their hands. To hide this, they usually wear gloves or a bandage on the finger as if they have had an injury. The fact that they look like us and mingle amongst us secretly begs the question, why are they here and what are their intentions? Why are they so secretive? There are people in very high places who consider them a threat and have squads out looking for them with intent to kill. This is no doubt why they stay secret. The truth is that we fear what we don't understand. Have you also learned where they are from and whether they really do look like us, or whether they have amended their appearance to look like us as a disguise? The deformed finger might seem to suggest that this is their true appearance. Why do you think these beings do look like us? If this is their true appearance, are they our ancestors or possibly even our descendants? It's not known what their true form is. The deformed finger strongly suggests that they do not look like us in their true form. Either way, they're obviously highly intelligent and far ahead of us technically. It is not known their planet of origin or if they are time travelers. They've never disclosed this as far as we know. Do you have any idea what the relationship or connection may be, if any, between these aliens and the various other visitors? Are there any well-known public figures anywhere in the world who you suspect or are suspected to be non-human? I don't know. If it became known that there was one such person, he would certainly disappear in very quick time. The authorities would immediately subject him to interrogation in an effort to find out how many of them are here and what their intentions were. This is why they remain secret. But once again, we must question what they're here for and what their intentions are. Always remember, throughout the course of history, a more advanced race has always enslaved a lesser advanced race. This is what worries the authorities. Have any of these aliens actually been successfully killed, to your knowledge? If so, what means are used? I don't know. Do you suspect or believe you have ever met any of these aliens personally? I have met some very interesting people, but none who have admitted they're being aliens. So again, I have to say I don't know. Are you at liberty to say how you have come by all this information? Can you, for instance, say more about the provenance of your information? Is this single source material, or have you heard this information from multiple sources? If your sources are insiders, what level, branch of intelligence, military government are they, and how much do you trust them? My intelligence background was very useful, and I've travelled the world meeting contacts. My information has come from high-level military, scientific and political sources. Enough said. Is this a situation recognised by and occupying the minds of authorities in countries other than the US? Yes, after the US, the leading authorities are Russia and the UK. May we publish this information, given that there would be no clue to any link with yourself? Be aware that some of the information I've given you can be very dangerous to know. I receive many death threats. The information regarding the hunting and terminating of aliens is getting onto very dangerous ground. Be very careful. Many people involved in this area have met with very nasty fatal accidents. You can use information I have given you, but under no circumstances associate it with me. This is an entirely separate question. What can you tell us about the real purpose and functions of the establishments shown in the link below? As best you know or believe, we have been clearly told credible but non-specifically that there is a connection with Mars. There's no doubt been a race by the major powers to be the first to Mars, firstly to examine structures photographed by satellite. There has also no doubt been a civilization on Mars, or still is. The question is this: are they our descendants, or are they truly alien? And if so, what technology can be found? It's possible that landings have already been made by the very advanced flying machines being used by the top secret American Space Command. This organization and the technology they possess are light years ahead of what the public are permitted to know. Comment from Project Camelot. Several people have written to us pointing out the similarities between this report and the description of the infiltration aliens in the old TV series The Invaders. The whole question of aliens in human form having infiltrated governments and the military is not new, of course, and was last year raised by Bob Dean, who is also certain of this information, and he was well placed to know. We were put in touch with Robbie by someone who knows him and who has seen our interview with Bob and had realized that this was the same material as he had been researching for many years independently. It was pointed out to us well before we posted the piece that this was one of the features of the Invaders TV series. We immediately got back to Robbie. He insisted that he had been told this by a number of high-level contacts at different times and at different places in different countries. Robbie, who is an extremely experienced investigator now in retirement, was adamant that this information was real. He warned us very clearly that this was dangerous information to know, and was fairly sure that he had been attacked and physically harmed specifically because he was getting a little too close to this truth and was sharing it with too many other people. What happens, he explained, and we agree, is that parts of the real information are often planted in fictional material, usually TV shows or movies, as a kind of fuse in a circuit, so if the truth ever comes out, it is instantly ridiculed as, "Oh, that was just a TV show." You mean you actually believe it's for real? A very clever psycho-op, it had to be admitted. The Stargate movie and TV series is a case in point. There is a great deal of truth in there, yet the public thinks Stargates as science fiction. Not so. There are large numbers of other examples of this. Total Recall, 2001, E.T., and the list goes on. We do think this is real information, and we invite other witnesses to come forward on or off record to confirm or add their own perspective. This is one of the reasons we post what we do and take the risk that not all other websites take. As a final note, we have since heard from another witness who describes in detail an encounter with a large strange person on a train a number of years ago, similar to Timothy Good's well-known alien encounter in New York, reported in Above Top Secret, who he believes was not human. This person, he told us, kept looking at his hands in a very odd way. This next report originates from seventails.net and disclosure.tv, titled The Secret CIA Time Travel Program, and this was posted in August 2015. Portals appear in many books, movies and video games. Some of them connect distant places, others travel back or forward in time, and the most powerful ones bridge into different dimensions. Most people suppose these gateways exist only in the realms of mysticism or science fiction, but there there are some who strongly believe that portholes have been opened up in ancient times and quite possibly even in the present day. According to two national security US informants, the Department of Defense developed time travel technology over 40 years ago, as early as 1967. The US government was using a fully operational time travel facility built on Tesla-based quantum access. This technology has been used to keep the construction of military installations secret, as well as provide political and economic advantages by way of knowing what the future holds. Some say the CIA confiscated Tesla's papers on teleportation shortly after his death. One of these two national informants, Michael Relf, is a former member of the US Army Forces who claimed he was a member of a top-secret US operation. He was recruited in 1976 and spent the next 20 years helping maintain and expand one of two or more US colonies on Mars. Those bases served as strategic research points and defense objectives, and in order to preserve their secrecy, they were built in the future. Relf said that after serving 20 years on the Mars colony as part of their permanent team, he was age reversed and sent back in time. He claimed that this was the usual procedure and that staff members would have certain memories blocked or erased before being discharged. Dr. Andrew D. Basiago was a participant in the DARPA's Project Pegasus 1968 to 1972 that focused on time travel in the time-space hologram. He claimed that the CIA was actively training groups of gifted American schoolchildren to become the first generation of time explorers. Children were better suited for this mission for several disturbing reasons. First of all, they were considered ideal candidates due to their clear minds and lack of impressions or experience. The US government was interested in the effect of time travel over young bodies and minds. The adult volunteers usually became insane after several journeys. Fortunately, naive children had little former experience and beliefs that could drive them mad. Another use for quantum technology was found in political control. According to Dr. Basiago, future persons of interest would be notified early about the roles they were to play in the future. He said that in the early 1970s in Albuquerque, New Mexico, he was present at a lunch at which George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush were informed of their future presidencies. Presidents Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton were also paid visits, and in 1982 President Obama was rumored to be approached while still a student at the UCLA to further this claim. There are many first witness accounts from people who attended college with Obama that can attest that he would often get drunk at parties and then claim that he would be the future president of the United States. Was this certainty not based on predisposed knowledge? Basiago claims that in 1971 he viewed images from the attack on the Twin Towers on September the 11th, 2001. They had been obtained from the future and brought back for analysis. This implies that the US government knew about 9/11 3 decades in advance. According to the informants and those who support them, this technology is held secret despite being funded by the public. It is also not the first time these missions have been kept declassified because of their immense potential. They say that the people deserve to know what is really going on, the truth about space exploration and the presence of humans on other planets. Teleportation could solve transportation communication problems worldwide by moving people and goods instantly. It would also immediately help to destroy the current tyrannical power pyramid that is in place. If they're right, we're missing out on some revolutionary insight. To what extent can the government manipulate our past, present and future lives? The Voice of the People now shows some incredible images of Nibiru and its dwarf star Nemesis that I've posted behind me. They show what appears to be objects I believe to be part of the system Nibiru. The first footage taken on the 2nd of September shows clearly a second sun and a red planetary body behind it. Could these objects be Nemesis and Nibiru's dwarf star, and Nibiru following behind it? I also checked the South Pole Telescope live feed. The image behind me shows a star-like object with a planet close by, to the right of the screen. To the left of the screen you can clearly see another bright object. These objects are very close to the horizon. The object on the left is below the sun, which is just above and to the right of the object. I now believe this is outstanding evidence. Objects of the system Nibiru can clearly be seen. The South Pole live image timeline it was taken was the 2nd of September 2015, 2.3500 UTC time. The evidence is mounting. How long will it be before the powers that be pull the plug on the internet, the only free source of uncensored information? The Voice of the People believes the evil controlling elite are planning a major false flag event as a distraction from the incoming Nibiru that will shortly start increasing in size as it starts to leave the inner solar system and flies by Earth on its outbound journey towards its own dwarf star Nemesis. If you haven't prepared for this coming event, now is the time to do so. You have been warned. The Voice of the People. This following report originates from ascendingstarseed.wordpress.com, titled Meteorite Hits Earth in Iran, Multiple Meteor Impact Event, Iran Confirmed, reported by Mehdi Sepahavand. And this was posted on Trend News Agency on the 31st of July 2015. Iran has confirmed that a meteor has hit somewhere in the northern part of the country. The meteor landed in Ajav in the province of Qazvin. Mohammed Ali Ahani, director of Qazvin Crisis Management Staff, said Mehr News Agency reported July the 31st. Also, there has been reports that some pieces of rock have hit areas in the Ashahad al-Broz province. Al-Salam Azami, governor of Bolin Zara County in Qazvin province, said. Another local governor of Tekistan County, Qazvin province, said that the area witnessed the passing of the meteor, but nowhere in the district under his supervision had been hit. And finally, this report posted on IranJpost.com. Iranian media reported an unsubstantiated rumor that US Secretary of State John Kerry was not injured earlier this week in a simple fall from his bicycle in Switzerland, but rather he was the target of an assassination attempt while meeting with Islamic State terrorists. This latest Iranian report, first published by the Nazim News Agency and subsequently picked up by dozens of Iranian news sites, based its information on an American news website, which cites a Russian Foreign Intelligence Service report as the source of the information. According to the report in Nazim, Kerry secretly met with one of the leaders of the Islamic State on Sunday. The meeting eventually led to an armed clash with an attempt to assassinate the US Secretary of State. Kerry's meeting, in which the alleged assassination attempt took place, was with Kulmurod Kaldamov, a senior Tajik police commander trained in the United States, who announced his defection to Islamic State in a video released last week, the report stated. Having received training from the US State Department previously, Kalamov was well aware of State Department security procedures, and he used the knowledge to get another member of his entourage into the secret meeting with Kerry with the intention of assassinating him, the report claims. The report cited communication interception by Russian intelligence from France, the US and Switzerland as confirming that 2 other people were shot in the incident, one of them fatally. The story of Kerry breaking his femur in a bicycle accident in Switzerland was then concocted to hide the real source of his grave injuries, according to the report. The Voice of the People states that if this report that occurred earlier this year is correct, Kerry could well have been killed and replaced by a clone. Could this be why Kerry disappeared from the world stage around the time of this report? The Voice of the People. Okay, my friends, you're all invited to join this channel by subscribing to End Times 23, which is a totally free subscription service. You're also invited to add me as a friend on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and join my Google Plus timeline. All this week's news links can be found on my website, endtimes23.com. There's a live link near the end of this video. Well, that's your lot for this month's Informer News Special Report. Until next month, this is your Informer signing off. Friends, I'll see you on the flip side. In Iran, and was there an attempted assassination on John Kerry at a meeting with ISIS leaders? Okay, into this month's Informer News Special Reports. This first report originates from ProjectCamelotPortal.com, titled Tony Dodd, Torchwood and ET Infiltration of the Government and Military, and this was posted on June the 10th, 2009, published in Written Interviews and Reports. Update. We feel we can now reveal that our source was the well-known and highly respected former British policeman and British UFO investigator. This is Informer News, your voice of the people. Timeline is Sunday, the 1st of November 2015. Welcome along, my friends, to another edition of the Informer News monthly special report. Coming up in this month's broadcast, claims from insiders that ET infiltration of the government and military is a serious threat to the United States. Plus the secret CIA time travel program. Also, amazing new footage taken from the UK on the 2nd of September, clearly showing objects of the system Nibiru. Also, an image taken from the South Pole telescope on the 2nd of September shows some incredible images of 2 brilliantly lit objects. One has a planet close to it. Plus, Iranian media confirms multiple meteor impacts to Tony Dodd. who died of a brain tumour. He had always suspected that his illness was engineered and was directly related to his work. Out of the 4 different groups, all humanoid, one group was so human looking, just like us, they could sit next to us in a restaurant, they could sit next to you in a theatre, and you would never know. Tony Dodd told us there were teams of agents tracking down ETs visiting the planet, just like in the series Torchwood, and either taking them into custody, imprisoning them, or killing them. Along the lines of ETs amongst us, from Bob Dean, they were the ones that bothered the admirals and generals the most. That these guys could be walking up and down the corridors of SHAPE headquarters or the Pentagon or the White House. From our first interview with Bob Dean, part 1. Following the publication of this interview, further information on this subject has come our way. We have also been told in no uncertain terms that this information is extremely dangerous to know or reveal. We therefore invite you, the reader, to copy and distribute this information widely on the internet, as long as it remains unaltered. We have named our